Welcome back, everyone, to the Late Night Review. And tonight I wanted to talk about a Charles Bronson movie that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of. And normally all my movie reviews are spoiler reviews because I'm talking about movies that I have a lot of nostalgia for, movies that have been out for many, many years, probably decades. But this one, maybe a lot of people haven't seen it. A lot of people who like Charles Bronson might want to check it out, and maybe they haven't seen it before. I'm talking about Messenger of Death with Charles Bronson. Messenger of Death is a good movie. I'm going to try not to give too much away. There's at the end, there's a reveal, and there's some stuff that'll maybe surprise people, maybe not. But I don't want to give too much of it away because I'm not sure how many people have seen this one. And if you're a Charles Bronson fan, as I am, I really love Charles Bronson. I think he was one of the best movie stars, one of the best action stars of all time, and a good actor. And a good actor. In fact, Sergio Leone, I believe Sergio Leone said that he was the greatest actor that he ever worked with because he worked with him obviously on Once Upon a Time in the West. And that's saying something to get that high compliment from Sergio Leone saying he was the greatest actor he ever worked with. And he worked with a lot of great actors. So I think he can act. I think he's obviously played himself a lot in different movies. And this is a good movie. I like Messenger of Death. Death Wish, Messenger of Death, Death Hunt. So much death all the time. But Messenger of Death is a good movie to me. It might not be for everybody, but especially if you're a hardcore action fan and you just want to see nonstop action and explosions and fighting, it's not that type of movie. Charles Bronson plays an investigator in here, an investigative reporter. He's not a cop. He's, if memory serves me right, he's a journalist or an investigative reporter. I haven't seen this movie from beginning to end for a little while, but I've seen it a lot, especially when I was younger. And I enjoyed this movie. There's actors in here that I'd seen in other movies, other actors that I'd seen in multiple other films who do a good job in here. Can't remember all of their names. The serial killer that was in 10 to Midnight, he's in here. He plays a role in here. And there's some other actors. One of the wizards that was in Conan Part 2, Conan the Destroyer, has a role in here. And Charles Bronson does a good job. He's investigating murder of a family, actually. He's investigating it, trying to find out what happened. There are brothers who are Mormons in here. There's a lot of Mormons in this story. There's rival families who don't like each other. There's a land dispute. There's blame. Who's the killer? Who killed this family in this movie? Who are the guilty ones? And that's what Charles Bronson is trying to find out. It opens with a disturbing scene of a killer going in to where the family is and he shoots them. And he and It's clear, I'm not giving that away. People think, well, it could be he or she, but it's clearly a man, but it doesn't give you his identity. You see his shape, you see his form, you see pretty much everything about him. But he goes in there and he's with someone else. No one knows who it is. It is obviously revealed at the end. Charles Bronson investigates and he finds out quite a bit of information, maybe more than one might think for a movie with Charles Bronson, because usually people are expecting, just an action movie. But it's not just an action movie. There's action in it. There's some interesting scenes in it. He's trying to find out who the killer is, and there's a lady who's helping him, and he gets kind of close at times. And then there's one or two people who are on the inside who kind of want to inform him and let him know, who didn't really like what happened. And the two brothers in here, one of the brothers is, like I said, the guy who played the wizard in Conan the Destroyer. He played one of the wizards at Shadazar, who worked for the Queen, played by Sarah Douglas. He's one of the brothers in here. And there's different sects, they have different doctrines. They're Mormons, but they have different teachings. Each group has a different teaching, or at least the two groups that are the main focus do. And it plays into the plot. And Messenger of Death, that title, the title of the movie, actually plays into the plot too. And it ties into what group might be connected with, may be connected with the killing. And then there's other people who are outside that Bronson has to look at, not just those two groups. And it's interesting. It's not your typical Charles Bronson movie. Usually Charles Bronson, like Death Wish or The Mechanic or Mr. Majestic, something like that. Hard Times, where he plays a bare knuckle fighter. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I really love Charles Bronson. I've always liked him. He passed away a number of years ago, and I was sad when I heard about that because he was always one of my favorites. I just watched Once Upon a Time in the West from beginning to end. Just took my time and watched that great movie with Charles Bronson and Henry Fonda. The Death Wish movies, I'd seen those a gazillion times. I saw Once Upon a Time in the West as a kid over and over again, but I hadn't seen it for a long time. I haven't sat down and watched it from beginning to end for a long time, but I did not too long ago, just recently actually. And that was such a classic, great movie. Fonda is one of the greatest of all time. But yeah, this is not your typical Charles Bronson movie, but he did branch off and do some movies that aren't your typical action movies. He did do a good job with some movies. Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa Claus is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. I really like that movie. It's a great Christmas movie, him and Richard Thomas, and that's definitely not your typical Charles Bronson movie. And this is not, it's totally different from that one, but this Messenger of Death is not your typical Bronson movie. There's some action in here, there's some chase scenes and some fights, some stunts in here, there is. But the main driver of this movie is the story and his investigating, him trying to put the pieces together and trying to find out who killed them, who killed that family, and why. Why did they do it? And what is it? What is it about that area? Because there is a land dispute too, and that figures into the plot. And Charles Bronson meets people along the way. There's a lady who helps him, and she was in quite a few. She was in a couple movies that I'd seen. She was in The Changeling, great, the best, to me, the best ghost movie, or one of the best ghost movies ever made, with George C. Scott, The Changeling. She was in there. She helped him in that movie. And the same actress, sorry, I'm forgetting her name. I'm just going on, I'm winging it here, folks. I'm a casual YouTuber. I got no script prepared. I'm just talking, just having a conversation with the camera with you guys, talking to you guys about this movie. But yeah, the same actress was in The Changeling. She helps Charles Bronson in this movie. I won't give the end away, and I won't tell you what each character does later. This is spoiler-free review. But yeah, Bronson has to investigate. He's trying to piece everything together. He does interview certain people who might be involved. He does talk to certain people who might be involved in the killing and in the case, possibly. And it's fun to see his journey and how he goes about trying to solve this crime. And it's a different Charles Bronson movie. If you like him, I think you'll like this movie as well. I enjoyed it. I actually was a little surprised that I enjoyed it so much, especially when I kind of figured it wasn't his typical movie, because I like his action movies, but I liked it. I like the journey that he takes, the investigative journey, and I like how he tries to piece everything together. It's a fine film, and I strongly recommend it. There's always something that a person could criticize. I love Charles Bronson. I really, really do. And I think this is a good Charles Bronson movie. It's a solid entry in a great career. And if you haven't seen The Messenger of Death, is it Messenger of Death or The Messenger of Death? I think it's just Messenger of Death. But it's a good movie, and I like it. and he does a good job, and I highly recommend it. And if you haven't seen it and you like Bronson, I think you'll like this one. This has been the Late Night Review. Please like and subscribe and share this video, and have a good night, everybody, and thanks for watching.